by far one of the most common issues that I see every single day on the lesson tee is players don't know how to use their wrist correctly in the golf swing. And here's the thing, when you get this wrong, it's gonna really hurt your swing. Now here's the crazy thing is the wrist set is actually a super simple motion. It's a very easy thing to do right, and it's actually a very small motion. We're only setting the wrist just a slight amount. So in today's video, I'm gonna run through how to do this, how to set the wrist correctly, how to load the trail wrist, everything that you need to know. But I'm also gonna explain why when you look at a video and some people say bow the lead wrist or flex the trail wrist, why it is that you cannot relate to that video. You're not going to want to miss this. So some videos you'll go and watch on YouTube, or maybe a lesson you'll go do, the coach will tell you, flex that lead wrist. And then another coach might say, or another video might say, let's try and get that trail wrist setting back on itself. Now you might watch one video and go, I cannot do that, or I cannot do that. But then the other one you might really resonate with. And it's actually all to do with your dominance. So what side are you dominant with? So for example, if you were to kick me in football, I would naturally want to kick it with the right side of my body, my right leg. If I was to write anything, I'd write it with the right hand. So I am very much a right side dominant player. That means for players that are similar to me, if you're right side dominant, you are going to feel everything through your right wrist. So suddenly telling a right-sided dominant player to flex the lead wrist, it's going to be really hard because I just don't have that mind muscle connection. Versus if you flip it, if you're a left side dominant player and you play golf right-handed, then yes, you're going to be able to flex that lead wrist way easier. It's going to come a lot more natural to you. That's something just to have a think about when we're going through this lesson, and that's going to tell you exactly what you should be focusing on when you're trying to set your wrist correctly. So let's now talk about how we should set the wrist. And just bear in mind that it's going to be slightly different for everybody. Everybody has different flexibilities in their wrist. But as a general rule, if we can see a player with a flatter to slightly more flexed lead wrist, that is going to promote a square to slightly closed club face. Now here's the thing, we tend to find now very much the modern way of teaching is to have a slightly closed club face. Reason being, and this is a crucial reason to understand, if you want to deliver shaft lean at impact, you actually have to have a closed club face, because otherwise you can see here the face gets open. Shaft lean is an opener of the club face. So if you want to deliver some shaft lean, you've got to close the face slightly. This is why golf coaches nowadays are promoting a little bit more of a flat to flex lead wrist, because it is going to encourage some more shaft lean at impact. So this is why setting the wrist is crucial, because it's going to help us achieve a decent position at the top to where we can gain control over the club face, which is going to allow us to gain control over impact. So let's start with the left hand. What is the left hand supposed to be doing? I see a lot of people purposely try and pull up on the handle, and this is not a good recipe. The more I pull my thumb towards me, the more my lead wrist is actually going to start to what we call extend, aka cup. That's what gets it into that position at the top. So rather than trying to pull my thumb up towards me, I want you to actually just feel like, and this is going to be a little bit strange, but you push down on the handle. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. A little bit of physics for you. AKA, if I push down on the handle, where's the club head go? Goes upwards, right? So if I'm taking this club back and I just push down on the handle, look at the club head, it's gone up. I haven't done anything with my right hand. My right hand's behind my back. If I push down on the handle, club head goes up. Now, again, people like specific things. So if I'm pushing down, where am I pushing down? Am I pushing down to my left foot? Am I pushing just straight down, or am I pushing down to my right foot? I like to tell people, look, try and feel like you're pushing down towards your trail big toe. That's a great indicator for you if you're doing this right. Feel like you're pushing down. That's a great feeling for you. Pushing down towards that trail big toe. Push down towards the trail big toe. That gets the club head up right there. Now, the other thing that you can see from the down the line view is as I do this, watch this to my shoulders. It gives me some great tilt and it gets my left arm into a straight position. So suddenly this one feeling is going to fix your takeaway, is going to get the club head setting up, is going to get your wrist conditions in a better spot, it's going to get your shoulders in a better spot, it's going to get your left arm nice and kind of straight, it's going to give you good width, it's going to do so many positive things for you. So it's really important that you use that feeling of pushing that left hand down or your lead hand down to your trail big toe. If you do that, what's then going to happen to the club head? Club head's going to go up. So that's what the left hand does, the lead hand does. Now let's talk about the trail hand. So this is a really important part. The trail hand movement is very subtle. Just like the left hand, the lead hand movement, it's a very subtle movement. So what the trail hand does is it sets back on itself, hence why we call it sort of the loading of the trail wrist. A great way of thinking of it is it's a very similar movement. So if I was to hold a tray or a plate above my trail shoulder, that's the sort of angle that we're aiming for. And that's very similar to actually the top of the backswing. If you imagine the club there, I've loaded that trail wrist. I've got some angle in that trail wrist. I'm holding it right there. It's the same sort of position. So how do we do this? Well, as the left hand is pushing down or the lead hand is pushing down, the trail hand is just gonna set back on itself. Now, if you look at the down the line view, you will notice that as we do that, look at where the club face is pointing. It's kind of pointing excessively closed in this position. So this is a great indicator that actually, if we can push down with the left, pull back with the right, we're going to promote this slightly closed club face, which I believe for a lot of golfers is going to give them way more control over impact. The other thing is a closed club face promotes more of a shallowing mechanism in the downswing. Again, why? The shallowing motion of a club actually opens up the club face. So you can very much see how all the pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall into place just because we're moving the wrist correctly. It's amazing. It's such a crucial part of the golf swing, and this is why we got to get it nailed. So the trail wrist is setting back on itself. The lead wrist is pushing down on the club head. Let's now combine the two together. Push down on the left, pull back on the right. Push down, pull back. Club head gets set up there. You can see club face is matching spine angle. Lead wrist is flat, trail wrist has the angle. Now from there, we're basically done. Turn to the top, maintain that. Turn back down again, feel that maintain, and then you can release it on the way through. So you can see right there, once we do the work pretty much in the first half of the backswing, we're done. We can then just swing throughout, maintain some good angles, and then from there get back to a great impact position. So like I'm trying to get across, this isn't a complicated movement, it's a very simple movement. But like we said earlier on, if I told a right-sided dominant player, hey, push down with your left, it's just gonna go straight over their head. It goes straight over my head. I can't feel it that way. But if I told a right-side dominant player to pull back with the trail wrist, feel like you're loading it back in that trail wrist, it's gonna really resonate. The same flips over for a left-sided dominant player. If I tell them to focus on their lead arm pushing down, it's gonna resonate so much with them. But as soon as I start talking about the trail wrist, it's gonna go straight over their head. So this is where you take the concept, you understand what both sides of the party have gotta do, the left and the right, and then you go, right, what swing thought's gonna work for you? See, now we know the theory, we know the concepts, now it's time to give you a drill to train it. Very, very simple drill. Grab an alignment stick, place it on the side of the golf club, and then take your grip. Now, this is gonna act as sort of our feedback mechanism. So what we're gonna do is set up to the golf ball, and as you can see, this alignment stick is up the left side of my body. Now, if you're that golfer who rolls the club inside or doesn't set the wrists a lot, we're not gonna see that we're gonna do this drill correctly. So how are we trying to perform this drill? Set up with the ball just like so. Alignment stick up the left hip. We're gonna feel like as we take it back, we push down, pull up with the trail hand. You can see as I've done that, that alignment stick has slid down my lead quad right there. That's exactly what we wanna be feeling. If it comes off the quad, we haven't done it correctly. We are trying to push down with the lead hand, pull up with the trail hand. It slid down my lead quad, and in that position, you can now see everything is looking good. The wrists are set. I can then just turn to the top. And again, at the top, this is a great indicator as to where your backswing structure is. We kind of want this alignment stick to be pointing just in front of us. Ultimately, from there, that means we're in a nice neutral position. So we can do that a couple of times. We can push down, pull up, feel that good motion. See, I didn't do it right on that one. So if I push down, pull up, there we go, that's better. That's gonna put me in a good position. Like I said, for me, I really feel it with my right hand. So now that I've done that a couple of times, let's actually give it a hit. I'm going to be feeling it more in the back of my right wrist. For me, that resonates more because I'm a right side dominant player. So I'm gonna be feeling like I set it up in the back of the right wrist. Now let's give it a go. Great strike there, had a really nice compression to it, and that is exactly what we are looking to achieve. So there we have it. That is how we use the wrist in the golf swing. If you can use your wrist correctly, you can see the massive positives that are gonna come from it. And ultimately, everything in golf is a chain reaction. If we move things in the correct sequence, positive chain reactions are gonna be set off. Now, if you need more one-to-one help with your game, I offer online coaching. It's really the future of golf coaching. It's fantastic. I've helped thousands of clients around the world in over 30 countries, and I'd love you to be the next one. So check it out. I'll leave the link down below. It's called the Skillest online golf coaching app. It's definitely going to help you with your game. If you have any questions about today's video, please drop them down below, and hopefully you've enjoyed it. Please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.